Hero Club presents Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu.
Welcome to Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu, episode 68. I'm your host, Wheelchair21, and joining me tonight is none other than my reoccurring co-host, Soundout 12.
Greetings, fellow human beings.
And he's just acting like that because he's been playing a lot of Gundam Age, where, we're dealing with aliens versus humans. But the plot twist is they're really Martians, that were really humans, that, terraformed Mars 150 years ago. But that's another story, because that's Gundam, and we're Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu.
We're Los Ingobernables de Gundam Age while I'm playing this game.
Yeah, he's also playing the PSP game that he found a patched English translation.
I found an English patch, both versions of the game, too. This game's really hard, so I'm not sure if I'm actually going to go back and play it a second time to get the other universe characters, because there's two versions, one with Universal Century and one with alternate universe characters as guest stars. I just went with the Universal Century because, I'm one of those dweebs. So, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, well, for tonight's show, it's just us two. We're your, dastardly duo or your dynamic duo or whatever you want to say.
Partners in money laundering.
Yes. That is a fact come January when we want to get Lobo. But yeah, no, so for this week, we're actually a little bit under pressure because we kind of dicked off most of the night joking about so many effing
It's currently
things.
3 in the morning and we're trying to record this podcast.
Yeah, this is like doing Mike and Mike in the morning, but there's not really a mic here to do a Mike and Mike with Mike. So it's just Wheelz and Soundout in the morning doing a podcast about Tokusatsu that may not actually be entirely about Tokusatsu, even though
it's going to be a lot about raging over Gundam Age right now.
Well, originally last week we did say we were going to do both GARO, Red Requiem, and the Dragon of the Blue Cry. However, we're actually just going to be doing Red Requiem later in the episode. We're going to be talking about I think it was at least 2 pieces of news, and then a funny topic that came up when we were doing Visible Ninjas, Ninja Talks Gundam show about Go Nagai and doing a Toei-produced Tokusatsu series. Now, the reason why I say there's 2 pieces of news is actually because I remembered one that was just recently announced, and that is actually going to be briefly about the fact that Super Sentai Versus movies are no longer theatrical. They're going back to home movie and Blu-ray because we're getting Lupinranger versus Patranger versus
We're getting yet another
Kyuranger.
Versus Sentai movie as a V-Cinext.
Yeah, they just announced it. We kind of knew this film was being put into production for a while. We just knew it was going on because photos from the set leaked, and people were like, what the hell's going on? And then, bam, next thing you know is we found out that that's how they're doing Versus movies now, is that they're going to be a part of the V-Cinext line, where they'll be 1 week in theaters and then immediately back onto home video and Blu-ray, which means shorter time for the fans, internationally to get a hold of them and see the actual product.
But it's also not coming out till August, so it's really kind of a long wait anyways.
Oh yeah, I missed that part that the date said August.
It's weird because we know they're already filming it, but that's a long turnaround. Toei's usually a lot quicker with the turnaround there.
Why do I have a feeling that the plot twist is that there's actually 2 of them and one's going to be earlier and then the other one's going to be later because there's just too many people in the film?
Plot twist, Geoders show up too, just to make it 27 or 26.
Well, it would at least shut up the goddamn fans complaining that they didn't get their Kyuranger crossover.
Which I don't think would have worked in its of itself, but throwing the Geoders in here would be nice.
I do know they did do a weird team up kind of thing of who gets paired with who. A while back we saw a photo or at least a fan speculation, and it was Lucky's gonna be with Kiria or whatever, Lupin Red.
There's gonna be some
Patoran Ichigo.
There's gonna be some weird numbers of these these sub teams, they're paired up. They can't be paired up 2 by 2 because there's not enough. There's one too many Lupat Rangers.
Yeah, because someone was saying that the girls are gonna be paired up, so it's gonna be Hami's gonna be with probably
Umika,
and then Tsukasa's gonna have Raptor.
You mean Tsukasa's gonna dominate Raptor?
Oh, she's gonna be like, yo, Mao, you're my bitch, and Mao's gonna be like, I don't like these. And that's where we get Superhero Time featuring. I just still love that meme. Superhero Time canceled. Tsukasa Time now, motherfucker.
Super Tsukasa Time.
Super Tsukasa Time is great. It's very great, especially if you go both ways. Take that as you may, anyone. Take that as you may.
Take that however you may.
Ooh, good pun, good pun. This is gonna get dirty and raunchier, because this is not Mike and Mike in the morning, but Los Ingobernables PlayStation Tokusatsu in the
You ever
morning.
play a video game that has a corresponding anime and you just realize that you should have just let somebody die because that was going to be the plot anyways instead of wasting their time trying to beat them?
Nope. I'm guessing that sneeze was the no.
Dead chick in Age?
Yeah?
I was fighting her a bunch, and what I actually had to do was fight Demon Child instead, so that Demon Child would kill her, and then I could have, not wasted all that time fighting her.
Well, maybe you should have checked the cheat guides and the strategy guides.
There are none for this game.
Well, sucks to be you. So anyways, other than that, though, like we were saying with the actual Versus movies, that, it's coming out in August, it's very far away, it's a little ludicrous.
I'm so excited. There's going to be 19 Rangers in this. That's more than, a Tyson film.
Yeah, no, we're going to have a lot in this team up. One thing, though, that I do really hope that we get, and we probably...
Character development for GARO?
No, bad. We're not carrying over that little rant from last week.
About how they let their pet turn into a ranger. It was so nice.
No, the joke I was gonna say was that, well, if we could maybe get, what is it, the movie mecha with, what is it, Lupin King or whatever?
Lupin.
Yeah, Jack
Lupin
Pop Lupin Kaiser, and if we can get good, Pat Kaiser side by side, and then do Cerberus and Shishi as the cores, and have them all, side by side,
That'd be neat. Plus, you could have Ho-Oh. Gigan Ho-Oh.
Oh yeah, put Gigan Ho-Ho next to Cool Good Striker VXX or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of right now is ooh, the mecha battle should be pretty. It should be awesome, and there should be
a lot of them.
There should be a lot.
Maybe that's why it's gonna take a while because they filmed the suit stuff, but they still gotta do all the mecha work.
All right, suit's done, the actors are done. We gotta go make mechas. Shit.
Imagine next Sentai series doesn't have mecha for half the season, then we get this 30-minute mecha sequence in the triple crossover, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, I guess that made sense."
Oh god, now you're making me go. Oh god, imagine the fandom losing their effing minds if they tried to treat a Sentai in the modern age like Jack and Go Ranger when they didn't have mecha, they just had a plane.
Oh god.
It is a mecha per se. It is counted as a mecha because of how big it is nominally, but it's it's just a plane. It's just a carrier base.
Yeah.
It's oh shit, they're riding in a helicarrier. That's also a helicopter. Okay. And a jet. I don't know. It's one of those weird rants where I'm it's a mecha, but it's not also a mecha, but it is a mecha. Hey, if the Gotengo can be a mecha, I guess, okay, that's fine. Alright, the other piece of news we want to talk about is actually anime-ish news because it is the freaking Projekt IG anime adaptation of the Ultraman manga, and all I can say is I remember hearing people bitching all over social media. Soundout's nah, Wheels, they're wrong. They're all wrong. Go watch the trailer. Watch his trailer. Nice CG. Good CG.
It is.
Not Godzilla CG.
Production IG worked on RE Cyborg 009, which uses a similar style, but this is even better than that. And I thought that was pretty solid. I'm not usually a fan of cel-shaded CG anime. That's a very well-known fact in our circle. But I'm a fan of it when it's done well, and this is definitely done well. This is the level of Mazinger's The Infinities mecha, which were done in a CG style. I'm very much looking forward to this because the animation doesn't look like hot garbage, aka isn't made by Polygon.
Polygon, why did you fail us? You did so good work on Transformers Prime, and then you were shitting the bed everywhere else. Everywhere else.
It's that was the one project where they actually put money into something. And it's really sad.
It's sad. So, with the trailer, though, from what I saw, it does have a lot of focus on at least I would say, the first 2 volumes. Now, I know that the film was originally reported that it was going to be an anime, which a lot of people assumed that they meant anime series. However, if I recall lately, they've clarified saying it is an anime film, most likely being the fact that it might just abridge the first arc of the actual manga, which could be the first maybe 4 to 6 volumes, which actually sounds reasonable. Then again, they could actually be doing it as almost films per se, where it's not going to be as released on a yearly basis or almost every 6 to 8 months like the Godzilla trilogy was, but they might be considering if the success of this movie does all right, we might get the other story translated into an anime film form from Project IG. So we don't know the full depth of this, and I could also just be misremembering all the reports I've seen conducted as well as we've conducted on Hero Club, because a lot of the information seems to clash at times regarding this film. It has changed quite a bit since the announcement to its first actual feature film trailer. So sound out, like, what's some of your thoughts on seeing the visuals, since you've read at least the first couple of issues and I've read up at least to 4 or 5, and I think we're on 10.
Yeah, I think it's like on 10 with the English release. I know it's a little bit farther. I really enjoyed the first 2 volumes, but I also was just kind of like, I'd like to see this in a more dynamic format, like an anime. So this is kind of like a dream come true for that in particular. And Production IG, it's one of those studios I do really enjoy their work a lot. And when I see their name on something, I always know it's probably going to be pretty good. I like their recent Netflix anime Be the Beginning, which, I think it was like one of the only other non-Ghost in the Shell kind of projects that I saw them do. Like, it was one of the first ones. So I really enjoy their work, and I think that the Ultraman manga is very different from the Toku, so they could never do a Toku adaptation of the manga, and I think an anime is the only way to do it. And it looks like it's going to be really cool and really faithful as well. It should be interesting to see how far in the manga storyline the first movie gets, and then see if we get future sequels. But it really looks great, and I really, really hope it turns out as good as it looks, because, sometimes things can look great, and then there'll be a disappointment, and, it's called Gridman.
Baby done done, baby done done. It's funny though, while watching that trailer, I kept saying to myself, for a fact that Netflix is going to try to get, like, probably, like, low tier or some professional voice actors. Like, I feel like they're going to try to get a few professional voice actors, but then they're also going to get, like, the new people that are, like, breakouts of being, like, singers on YouTube, or say, like, abridgers.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm just gonna be watching in Japanese.
Like, I might watch the English dub if they're like, oh, hey, we got Johnny Young Bosch or Crispin Freeman being old. I can't think of the character's name, but Hayata's son, who is Ultraman or whatever, or his grandson. Yeah. Like, I think I would be, like, so ecstatic if they're like, oh yeah, we got a guy who's voiced several animes and may or may not have been a Power Ranger, something like that, as the voice of the English cast, because, like, honestly, the Bleach live action dub was pretty good, since they did try to get a good portion of the original Viz dub team, as well as, like, the dubs for the Godzilla films, while, like, some of these guys I've never heard of or know of them because they were using pseudonyms, and they're actually, like, the Dragon Ball Team 4-Star / Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, like, kind of guys that have done those stuff. It was just, like, weird just seeing them on a, like, a high-end dub and not, like, trying to actually go out. Like, I was a little shocked that Netflix nor Toho was like, let's actually get, real named, voice actors, people that can immediately go, I know this voice. I've seen you in, Full Metal Alchemist. I've heard you in Dragon Ball. I've heard you in One Piece. I've heard you in, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or I've heard you in the really, old, like, ADV dubs that everyone actually do like, or I've heard you in, Bebop, Big O, Gundam, stuff like that,
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, Be the Beginning didn't have, like, a bunch of all-star talent either in its dub, which is why I ended up just watching it in Japanese. So I just felt like the dub was like inferior in a way, which just kind of sucked, because it was just like, it needs quality voice talent, because as good as a show can be, your voice cast can ruin a show. And I know there's a lot of people that'll be watching it only in English, so let's hope that they get some good people on board.
It's sad, if what's his face was still alive. I know he died shortly after Speed Racer, but I would have loved if the original voice of Hayata was still alive, just for shits and giggles, to have him voice Hayata yet again for the English dub. That would have been, like, really magical. But if I recall, he died, like, right after the Speed Racer movie, where he had the brief cameo as the reporter during Speed's first race in the film, where he goes, his brother would be proud of him for nearly coming close to breaking his record, even though Speed was gonna break the record, but no one noticed except for his family.
Yeah, I think that would have been nice, but I think with anything, it's best to see how it plays out. But we're gonna hope for a good dub on it, for the sake of Ultraman getting more of a presence in America.
All right, so yeah, no, exactly sounded. But I did find out actually who I was speaking of just a minute ago. It was actually Peter Fernandez. He actually died in 2010, which was 2 years after Speed Racer. So he didn't die immediately after, but it was shortly after. But I would have, like I said, I wish he was still with us. Like I said, he died in 2010. He was 83 at the time. Cause was lung cancer. Had he been with us, he would have been almost. Whoa, actually, yeah, no. Had he still been with us, he'd be 91. So say 92 when it would come out. I don't know. I don't know if he would still be doing it, or if he would have if he was still around. I think he would have. I think he would have been like,
Yeah,
I'm
I think he
coming
would have been
back.
up for it, honestly.
Because I think Peter Fernandez, who was the voice of Speed Racer, was also, I believe, the voice of Hayata. And if he wasn't, I know he was a huge, benefactor to the show as a script writer and translator for the show. You know what I'm saying? Because he did both. So yeah, no, that's what I wanted to bring up. But yeah, no, let's just hope it's good. Let's hope it does great. And there's another Project IG thing that you need to see one day, Sound Out. Maybe we could maybe watch it after we watch the Titans this week. A little bit of it.
What is it?
We could watch Keitai Sosakan 7.
Oh, I hear you talking about the live action anime over here.
Yes, the live action anime that never was, starring Kamen Rider and Kira from the 2015 Death Note Japan drama. That is also the lead character.
I still need to cut. I got really behind on this current season. It's been kind of depressing me a little bit.
Well, I heard that Tokyo Ghoul is nothing but depressing, so I can understand why.
It is, and that's why like I get like super excited to watch it every season that it's come up. But then also like several weeks in, I'm just like, do I want to keep doing this to myself? And then I like wait, and then like the season ends, and then I binge it.
Yeah, no, but that's crazy. So like that's practically all the main juicy news is we got a versus special coming up. We got the date. Oh yeah, the date's also April Fool's Day, which made me and Soundout go.
It's
Are
like
you kidding? No.
Amazon's. Remember when Amazon's debuted on April Fool's Day, and everyone was like, "What?"
Did it?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
it debuted on Amazon Prime in Japan April Fool's Day of 2016.
Oh shit! No, that's because I did the April Fool's Day joke to make people think. That's right. I hooked people using that shit saying it would go worldwide just to fuck with people on April Fool's Day. That's right. You had me confused. I thought you were referencing the April Fool's Day joke, and then you're like talking about the Japanese date. That's right. Okay, now that makes
Yep.
sense. Now, no, it was when they were doing season 2. I tried to use the April Fool's Day joke to hook people in, and people tell me I should take it down from our website, but I'm like, I literally have a tag specifically as a category. So like after the day is done, like once it's April 2nd or April 3rd, I remove the April Fool's Day. Like I put the April Fool's Day category on it, but the tag's already in there. So if you don't read our tags on our articles, that's your fault. I'm not gonna lie, Darkon probably came up with the good one for the Gundam Build Fighters one that everyone told Darkon he should kill himself for that one.
What did he do again?
Okay, so for those listening who probably never seen any of our articles on our website, Darkon came up with an idea for a Build Fighters sequel that before we had Divers. It was before we had Divers, and I think it was before we got Battlelog. And like Battlelog was announced like about 3 weeks later or something like that. All right. So he did this great idea for Build Divers, not Build Divers, Build Fighters, and like even the title of the show that we made up for it had to be an April Fool's Day joke. It was like almost like like an Onion like website where like you could realize there was a pun in the name or it's like a joke, so you shouldn't take it seriously. And a majority of the cast, like of the secondary characters, were like legitimate like main like characters of other Gundam shows. So like we had it that like the voice actor who played Shin Asuka was gonna be like one of the main kind of like reoccurring antagonistic rival characters, and like there was like a lot of references, but like what we did was as like a pun was that like we were like saying, oh yeah, it was revealed that this guy actor is going to be this character. For those who may not know, he played blah 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 in this Gundam, blah 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 blah. However, the character he's portraying in this, and it was like such like a terrible character. Like it was like something like pretty much how everyone hates Shin Asuka? Well, the joke was we made Shin Asuka like a great character, but then we had like the guy who played Kira playing like a fuck boy of a character. And like that's when people should have like been picking up on the clues. Like we made like so many subtle references to us just hating those characters that people should have realized it was like a joke. Like I think one of the jokes was like Darkon had it that the guy playing Kira was going to play a character called Jesus. Like, I might be misremembering stuff that we cut out of the article, because me and
Oh my
Darkon,
God.
because me and Darkon wrote the article, I think 3 days before April Fool's Day. Like Darkon came up with it, and it was like the greatest crackpot idea, and we worked on it for like 3 fucking days before we published it. Nevertheless, though, April Fool's Days, yeah, the fact that we're getting Ultraman then. Oh my God, imagine if they upload it, but they also, instead of giving us the English dub right away, it's a parody dub.
It's a 4Kids dub, like the
Oh,
TaJa
God.
dub.
Yeah, like, cause like remember like with the Bleach dub didn't go up day one. It went up 2 weeks after the film had already been up on streaming and only in Japanese and English sub.
Yeah,
God, now I'm hoping that they do give it a 4Kids April Fool's Day joke dub, but it's all of the actual 4Kids actors.
that'd be insane.
It's a bad idea, but anyways, speaking of stuff not to work on a Toei Tokusatsu. Now, this is coming out of the imagination of, I'm pretty sure, guys like Go Nagai, having cross paths with people like, Ishinomori had to be a thing. Like, they had to have been a thing, because if I recall, was it Go Nagai and Ishinomori were both, like, trained by Tezuka, of all people?
Yeah,
So they being former students of the, like, the godfather, the grandfather of like anime or manga, being Tezuka, they've had to known each other. They had to been friends, or they had to be at least colleagues that somewhat tolerated each other. Like, I don't know the full extent. They could have hated each other's guts, who knows? But if they had true respect for each other, imagine if Toei ever gave him the ball to run with in Tokusatsu, whether it be Kamen Rider or Sentai. And me and Soundout started just running off stupid ass ideas on Ninja Talks Gundam. So, Soundout, how about you start off with your crazy pitch of a Sentai series that you and me started brainstorming up?
should I just go with one element of it, and then we'll just go from there?
Let's just go with the base that you threw out there. We just started running wild.
So, basis is that it's going to be a 5-person team. All the male rangers will be Devilman themed. All the female rangers will be Cutie Honey themed. And their mecha will be Mazinger Z themed.
Now, that just seems like a crackpot dream where they're actually just references to his other work. But I actually could see Toei letting him get away with this shit.
I know Bandai would be good with that because they make his stuff all the time.
They would, but like I think what they would want to do with Nagai working on it, Go Nagai, he would probably want to have it that like if they're based ideas on demons and like sexy android kind of per se, I think he would want to make it that like their gimmicks are more well into. Like I feel like he would rework it that the men and the women are in a sense like the men are more Cyborg 009 as a homage to his, if they're actually friends to Ishinomori. So they'd be like Devilman meets Cyborg 009, a thing that already did happen. So hey.
That was already a great anime.
All right, and then you also have the girls just be more of a Cutie Honey resemblance with a bit of Devilman, and you get a good good mix going on there. Then you go right to the Mazinger, and now with Mazinger they're not really parts formers, but what I think you could get away with is try to, in a sense, either use the style of like, since it isn't straight up non-transforming usually mecha, you could probably get away with going back to the old school of what is it, Battle Fever Robo, or you could try to cheat the system. Now this is what I'm gonna say is cheat the system and do a Galaxy Mega like system to still give you a bit of that transformation feel that you require for you.
They have two
your
mechas. The female rangers get Aphrodite Ace. The male rangers get Mazinger Z. But then the 6th ranger gets the Scrander.
You're just like, no, let's just reuse them and force Toei to make suits of them.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Just so you could then see them be weirdly repainted and just re-released as Soul of Chogokin.
It'll be the guy Sentai Devil Honey.
God, you know what the sad part is though? Like with this crackpot scheme, I could actually see them doing that and releasing the Soul of Chogokins like day one. Like, oh yeah, we're not even making mecha, we're just gonna re-release like Soul Chogokins and Super Robot Chogokins day one launch. Like, there's not even gonna be a vinyl figure. Like, wait, what? Nah, no vinyls, just figure arts. Like, what? They just go in super Bandai collector heavy on that shit.
Because they know that's exactly what
you're
you're interested in.
Because it would be like Amazon's all over again and be like, nah, there's nothing for you little kids. You got to buy it from P Bandai or just Bandai Collector Shop, Bandai Spirits. Like, that's what I feel like is if they did a Sentai. Like, I don't think the weird thing is like when seeing Devilman and sort of like how Cutie Honey is though. I don't think Go Nagai would straight up do a Sentai. I feel like he would be like straight on like trying to do like a writer show, like because
Oh,
like he
totally.
seems to do like a lot of standalone heroes with support characters or sidekick characters that follow the suit of like say, Showa to, early Heisei or current Heisei when they're only just 1 and 2 writers or 1 and 3 writers. Because with Cutie Honey, there's other characters that support her and assist her, but with Double Man, he's got like anti-heroes and scumbags.
Yeah, and he's also got the Devilman core, but they're all disgusting freaks. So
Oh, like most of Kamen Rider Double's assets during his run, like
no.
Hobo,
I mean like
Hobo
they're
and
actual
Santa-chan.
monsters, not just people you dislike because of their looks.
I mean, that's pretty much the same.
It's not.
Sure? You sure?
Look, I'm just
I,
saying, Santa-chan never had like 3 jaws. Okay.
but we do know that Tomo I was a monster because that photo book that got banned by several groups. Then again, there's a real reason why that got banned.
Why was
Because
that?
you don't remember that the one where it was her, was it the one who played Queen or Elizabeth, the one where she did the photo book and was like a kid holding her breasts and it got like marked as child pornography.
Wow.
You don't remember that one?
No, you never told me about that.
Okay, so like no, I thought no, it was big news. So like, okay, so she was doing like a swimsuit photo book kind of thing, and so like there's a part where she's not wearing like a top, and like a kid's actually like covering her breasts for her in one of the photos, and because there's like this boy holding his hands over her tits as like a censorship thing, it's counted as like child pornography.
Well, that's what Japan gets for their sensitivity rules.
But it's funny too because it's just like he's under the age, and it's just so fucking funny. Because I just remember that coming out, and they were promoting that as like the cover of the book too.
Oh God, that's even worse.
That's why the photo was on the cover of the book. And if anyone listening to this doesn't believe me, Google search it. It's what is it, Tomo I or whatever? Whoever played what was it? Was it Queen or was it Elizabeth? I can't remember.
I don't know. Were they not the same character? Wait,
no,
one
I don't
turned
remember.
into a dopant, the other didn't.
Yeah, no, Queen and Elizabeth. I'm trying to remember which one was it. Yeah, it's Tomoe Itano. Yeah, it was Tomoe Itano. That was the one. That was straight up the one that I'm thinking of. That is exactly the one I'm thinking of. Oh, that's too funny though. I'm trying to remember which one she was. Which one was she? She was Queen. Queen. It was Queen.
Oh yeah. So it was
Because
the
at the
one
time-
that used the guy memory.
Yeah, no, because she was also Queen of AKB48. That was the joke at the time. Okay. Anyways, we're getting too much off topic. Actually, I don't even remember what the topic was. Oh yeah. Go Nagai. So
Go
if he did a
Nagai
com-
Super Sentai mashup.
Yeah, no, but if he did a Kamen Rider though,
It would be Devilman.
I don't think he would straight up do Devilman. I think he would try to go back to the roots of being Bugs and Shocker. Like I feel like he would want to try to carry it, but make it very graphic. Like I feel like it would be more of a darker take on.
It'd be more
the
like a
original.
Skullman thing.
I feel like it would be a lot like the Kamen Rider Spirits. Like, have you ever read some of the Spirit stories where it's like
Yeah.
they're really effing dark? Like Kamen Rider Spirits gets really effed up. Like the whole thing where was it like in the black one where like Gorgum literally like controls the world and like Black is literally like soloed out as like the monster.
I'm trying to remember if I read that one or if it was the Kuga one I read.
Just there's a lot of them. Like what I'm talking like Kamen Rider Spirits. Like some of them like are actual ones though that Ishinomori did right. Like because I don't think he did the Kuga one, but he did do like quite a few, and they were like really like dark takes on the lore that he established. Like I think
I
like,
remember
feel like,
speaking of like additional writer media, the double manga was really dark.
yeah, because wasn't there like a lot of death in that one?
A lot of death and a lot of nudity. Like that one was closer to the True Detective show that you were really looking for.
Oh yeah, I know. I enjoyed the little bit that I got to read of it. I didn't get to finish it though.
Yeah, like it took to the last chapter for them to actually transform to double, which was kind of annoying, but at the same time, like it was okay because it worked for the story. But yeah, it was interesting.
But yeah, no, like with Ryder, I feel like he would go back to the roots. He'd go back to the darker side. I feel like he would try to propose with Toei to do a real just like Rider Man, not Rider Man, like Kamen Rider or Skullman crossover with Devilman, because I feel like that would be a lot cooler since we did see them do a Cyborg 009. Like, why don't we just do a Skullman crossover then with Devilman?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like it would be like a thing that matches perfectly, like that's so up like both each other's alleys. I feel like. Then again, Skullman's supposed to be like just a badass detective too. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what he should detect? You know what he really should detect though? Think about it. The what is it? The exploration to the South Pole.
The expedition to the South Pole, yes.
Just do that because that shitty dub that no one wants to talk about except us here because we're fucking monsters.
Also, because Discotech put it on their Blu-ray, so now I have to acknowledge it as existing.
Oh shit, they actually did?
Yeah, it's
Damn.
actually on the Blu-ray.
Well, looks like I gotta go buy the Blu-ray now.
It's a good Blu-ray. It's that animation was, I never realized how good the animation was in those OVAs.
Well, that's the thing about a lot of the late 80s, 90s stuff is that like the animation when we got them were either really dumbed down or they were actually like really effing good. And
It's
really,
like the quality was never as good as like the presentation quality was never as good as the actual like animated quality, you know?
Yeah, it's like one of those things where like cuz like I see a lot of animes now like the G Gundam Blu-ray is like wow, that show was so dark. And I don't mean like the actual context. It was just like when we got it it was just so dark.
And the thing is too is that's how it looked on the Japanese DVD as well, so it wasn't like an American thing either.
Yeah, so I don't remember. It's just weird. But yeah, no, it's one hell of a ride. So we've tracked around, just joking around about Go Nagai, other things. Itano and the child photo book thing that got banned, and Speed Racer and whatnot. Let's talk about GARO Red Requiem, a movie that I hadn't seen in years or fully seen in years. And Soundout and me recently watched in the past month.
I've
And
watched
this
it
would actually-
like 3 times in the last like year.
But hey, there's one thing though, is that it does wrap up that, previous episode where we did talk about the first 25 episodes ago. I think the only thing we haven't talked about yet is Beast of the White Knight before we can go on to Makai Senki, so one day we'll talk about that movie. Unless we did talk about that movie. I don't recall.
It's not a movie.
TV movie.
It's a TV special. It's a 2-parter. It's not even a full movie.
Chala, head chala, I don't give a fuck. It's 3 a.m. Chala la la la. You know it's bad when Wheels is singing chala, head chala.
I know. It's like
Note.
your least favorite song.
Exactly. Actually, no, my least favorite is We Got the Power. Right now there's a Dragon Ball fan chewing me out in the comments below.
Right now, I'm trying to figure out why I can't target the damn enemy, and it keeps targeting something on the wall.
Well, all in all, it's just another brick in the
How
wall.
do you
Anyway,
target something else? God dang it, these Japanese only games have there no control consistency. Ah!
anyways, let's talk about Red Requiem now. Soundout, how about you give a good explanation of what Red Requiem is, what's it about, and yada yada yada.
So, okay, apparently I have to destroy 3 turrets before it lets me attack the actual boss, and I'm dead. How should I quantify Red Requiem into any words besides best Toku movie of all time? I'm hearing no rebuttals, so therefore,
I'm
Toku-
just sitting there like, does he want me to rain on this parade, or does he not want me to rain on this parade?
you don't want to rain on my
Because I mean,
parade.
it's a fairly solid Tokusatsu film for sure.
Well, most Tokusatsu movies suck because they never give enough attention to their story, or their stories are too complicated to fit the runtime, or they're just made to sell toys. GARO Red Requiem is actually a really beautiful film when you take a look at the way the cinematography is done, as well as like the effects work, because Omnibus Japan knows how to make good visual effects, and that's why they don't work for Toei. GARO Red Requiem essentially is a story that's very simplistic in nature. It's, alright, there's a horror that's inside of a mirror that likes to eat people after showing them their true desires. That leads to Koga going to a town to track down this horror, and, along the way, he runs into a group of Makai priests. From there, he meets his friend Rekka, who will be his friend in the future, and her, along with Shiguto and Akaza, all work together to try to defeat Karma, who is the mirror horror. They also have some opposition from Karma's followers, which are 2 other horrors, Time Fire and Coked Out Poppy. And so, essentially, that's the basic plot of the movie. There are some nice twists and turns, which I don't really want to spoil too much, but, you get some deviation from what you'd expect, and some really great action sequences. They also do a good job of taking Koga's armor away for a chunk of the movie, which means the appearances of the full GARO armor are infrequent, so that they are more impactful than him just being able to use it all the time. But GARO Red Requiem really is kind of like when they brought the franchise back to life, and I think that there was no better way of doing that.
Oh, fun fact, a friend of mine actually got back to me finally on on what was going on. Here's a funny thing. So the photo I was talking about Tomino Itano, actually no, it was Tomino Kasai who was actually Elizabeth that got her photo book banned.
Oh,
The reason I was getting their names confused is because they both have the same surname, but they're not, if I recall, related.
they're not. Yeah, that's right. They're not related, but like they were playing Queen and Elizabeth, and they both had the same.
Yeah, anyways, sorry for cutting you off about the Garo film. It was just that finally my pervacious friend from halfway around the world, who I know for a fact everyone's going to assume it's Ukiya Seed, you're wrong. It's actually another friend of mine. Anyways, go back to the Red Requiem thing.
Pretty much finished up my bit about it.
Oh, about how it's actually a movie about where it's all about the story, it's all about the character, it's all about you're not going to see this armor because it only appears for 99 seconds, but it went over the time because it's a movie, so you're not going to realize time lapses.
Yeah, I mean, but he does get to use it. Here's the thing too, is he uses it 2 times within a sealed sense, but then he also fights a giant naked woman at the end of the movie and unlocks a brand new form that would later be a $200 Makai Kato figure.
You're not petty about that, are you?
I really want it, but I wish it wasn't freaking $200.
Everyone, he's petty. Anyways, yeah. No, so this film, I remember when it was announced, I was super effing hyped. I was, like, so excited. I think I watched the film, and, like, I was like, oh, this is, like, a typical, like, it feels like it actually felt like a return to style, like, you know, it's like one of those things where, like, since it was the first thing we got after the first 25 episodes and the, TV special, the 2-night TV special that was turned into, like, a TV movie on home video release, like, it really felt like it fit in with what we got. Like, it felt like it legitimately was that missing part that we needed, but it also felt like it didn't take place so far after the show had ended either. You know, it felt like even though there was like a 5 or 6 year gap, it was literally just like 1 week later or few months later or like less than a year. So it was just very solid. So like I'm saying, I really do love that this actual film straight up feels like it just takes place within a year's time, even though it's been a 5 year gap. Like this film, it's good the fact that the actor who plays Koga didn't change too much. So when they did do this, it was like, oh hey, it's only been like 5 years in real time, but in this movie, it's only been like a few weeks to a few months, and it worked perfectly. And it feels like a full-on like stage 1 film, even though it was so much later. Who knows, this film could have actually been in a sense written way before the series was actually temporarily canceled or whatnot, before it was renewed and such. So I think that this film in a sense is a good embodiment of what we got. It does, though, it feels rather lacking when it comes to having reoccurring characters that people love, but people were just okay with this film for what it is because we didn't have Garo for so long that it was like, okay, we can get by with just Koga being there on one of his adventures, seeing that Amamiya even promotes by saying, I did try to get this film, or I tried to rework this film to be specifically in that time Koga went off on his own and Karu went off to go to school. Like, it worked so perfectly to explain what the hell was going on. And your theory is probably an interesting one about the continuity because of it being like this weird solid thing that even though it was 5 years later, it fits right in with the original schematics of the timeline and then bridges perfectly into Makai Senki. Like, explain to people who may have forgotten your explanation of the discotheque timeline.
So basically, well, the Section 23...
Not discotheque, yeah, Section 23, sorry. I don't know why I was thinking discotheque.
So the Section 23 timeline, essentially, they released Red Requiem before they released Beast of the Demon Knight. And the reason why they did this was because when you look at the continuity of the show, Garo, like, Koga leaves at the end of the series, and he goes off to explore parts unknown from taking, an order from the Senate. And in Red Requiem, he's taking orders from the Senate, and he's off on his own. So, essentially, what it seems like is that while they didn't have it planned, the original series ended with him... I think he was assigned to like investigate the Northern District. So who's to say that Red Requiem doesn't take place in the Northern District? You know what I mean? It's one of those things that I think that Red Requiem kind of fits as a Gaiden kind of thing, but it fits there because Beast of the Demon Knight features a lot of things like the return of Jabi, more emphasis on Makai priests, and Garo Red Requiem really did feel like the first big push to introduce more Makai priests to the series, because before we just had Jabi and we had Shimon, who was the head priest.
He was like the current head mage of like the entire area, if I recall. Like he was like the
Right. He was the
guy.
regional leader, basically. And so, anyways, the thing is that with Red Requiem, where it is that you get this nice, perfect spot where it slips in between the end of the series and Beast of the Demon Knight. And the thing is, nothing from Beast of the Demon Knight would contradict Red Requiem at all. And nothing in Red Requiem would contradict Beast of the Demon Knight being after it. And actually, it kind of, gives it a little bit of breather so that when Koga returns to the mansion at the end of Beast of Demon Knight, he's not just running off again to somewhere else. It's more of he was already off, so the return in Beast of the Demon Knight is a little bit longer had, so it kind of gives it that more emotional connection there. So I think it really works. Plus, by that point you get to Makai Senki, all the characters from Red Requiem pretty much come back, or in terms of Rekka and Shigeta, and then all the characters of Beast Demon Knight. So it, by the time you get to Red Requiem, all these other side projects, that all stuff lines up and matches up for Makai Senki.
Yeah, and I feel like it was like a really good, solid, like I said, Phase 1 Garo film. Like it really, like even if it came later, it feels like it, even if it was supposed to be like, oh yeah, we kind of started this while we were in mid-production of Makai Senki, it didn't feel like it took away, it doesn't feel like it removed itself. It doesn't feel anything like, it just doesn't feel like, like it just doesn't feel like there's been a huge passage of time like it was in reality for those of us who were watching it when it first started. Like for me, there was a huge time. Like there was at least a significant 5-year gap between the two.
Right. It was movie came out I think in 2011 and the series ended in 2006. So
yeah, so it like kind of like came out of left field for me. And then when we got the sequel, the second series, that was great. And the film that we're not going to talk about too much on this episode, but we will talk about it later since we did recently watch it. What was it?
Sokyoku no Mairu, Demon Dragon of the Blue Cries.
While it does wrap up Koga's story, it just doesn't fully fit in with a lot of the shit that I know is Garo.
It doesn't fit with anyone's perception of Garo. It's kind of like they went... Sokyoku no Mairu really is a film that I think is gorgeous. It's really inventive and it's really interesting. It just doesn't fit like the themes of Garo very well, in my personal opinion. And it feels like a weird side quest. It runs like a fantasy JRPG, which is kind of fun. It's not to say that Sokyoku no Mairu is a bad movie. I think it's actually really well made and really well done. But it is an incredibly weird movie that doesn't really line up with other parts of Garo. The Sokyoku no Mairu does have continuity tie-ins to Makai Senki, unlike Red Requiem, where Red Requiem could be totally watched on its own without ever watching anything else for Garo. So I think Sokyoku no Mairu, it sort of does stand alone as well. Because
it does, but I wouldn't recommend it because it does at least expel the fact that, without spoiling Makai Senki, Koga forges a deal with a super metaphysical entity to help him defeat this bad guy that was like the main character of the second season. And it also says that, kind of if he doesn't then reclaim a certain item, that Koga may or may not continue to be living. It's one of those things where it gives you this context of what did happen in the series without fully explaining like what goes on. But he did forge a pact to like be alive or killed if he doesn't pay his debt to this metaphysical demon entity thing that helped him save the world. So it's like you get that context, and then everything else is kind of oblivious. And what I do like though about this film is that it didn't have too much of the immense backlash as the second film did to require to have characters like Zero, Don, or Jabi or Karu phoned into the film, like it ended up having to do with
Sokyoku.
Sokyoku no Mairu.
Yeah, I think that Red Requiem is also pretty fun for being just Koga, but then also, like, we get introduced to this movie to Rekka, who ends up being one of the longest running and one of the coolest, characters in the Garo series. And I know that even, like, her popularity was high enough that she ended up in Zero Dragon Blood. Like, so she even transcended just being a priestess that would be friends with Koga, but she actually works with Zero in his own series later on. So
wasn't the only returning character in the Garo Red Requiem was just him and his dad? Was just Big Pappy TaJa?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, and
because you don't fuck with TaJa. You don't fuck with TaJa.
I believe Kaoru's actress voices Karma.
Yeah, she like performed some. I think she did perform some like kind of ADR for the film, and I think Ray Fujita sort of did too, and that was all they could do for that film.
Yeah, and it's nice because it's like, and like it says, like you said, with, we talk about it being standalone. Red Requiem, you don't need to know a whole lot about GARO because they introduce you to Makai Priest like you've never heard of him before, and you just need to know that GARO is a knight that fights horrors. That's the basis of it. So you don't need to know Zero and his complicated stuff. You don't need to know Jabi and her storyline. Of course, Jabi wouldn't be in here because continuity, but you know what I mean? Like, all the other side characters, if you don't have them, it kind of simplifies and streamlines the whole movie process. And since it was relaunching the franchise, there are people going to see this movie that may not have seen the original series, but may have gone back to see the series after seeing the movie.
Exactly. But overall, like, I do recommend people should watch it in the way it's meant to be seen, from episode 1 to 25, and then your choice of the special with this movie in whatever order you wish. Then
also, don't forget the
Makai
Kiba Gaiden if you're really into it.
If you're really into it, but it's not actually for everyone because it's told actually like a storybook and presented as one.
Oh yeah, I love the Kiba Gaiden because it's really beautiful, but it's told through, majority of it is told through like illustrations and narration with some limited fight scenes because it was a very low budget V-Cinema kind of release. But it does provide some great backstory for Kiba if you want more of that. It's optional.
And the best part about that Gaiden was it practically answered all of the fan theories that were out on the net at the time. It was just like Amamiya read forums and was like, all right, I'm going to do this. Everybody happy.
Mm-hmm. And so here's the other thing too. If you're somebody out there that wants to get into GARO and you're not really sure if you want to jump into a TV series, Red Requiem's a great way to test out if you're going to like this franchise or not.
Also, if you hate Jam Project, you're probably not going to like this. But if you do like Jam Project,
Jam Project is synonymous with GARO at this point.
But when they're doing this, they usually like to call themselves GARO Project because they're a little crazy about that thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like really nuts.
I mean, hey, what was it? Fade renamed themselves Dead Man Wonder Band for Dead Man Wonderland, so it's not the first time that happened.
True. And I mean, it doesn't help that, what is it? Zaraba's voiced by one of the band members.
Hironobu Kageyama was one of the founders of Jam Project, and he's the voice of Zaraba in every piece of GARO media.
Damn right, and you don't fuck with the ring.
Unless
you actually make him lose his memory.
All the live action productions and all the anime productions and the one video game.
Wait, what video game?
The PS2 GARO video game?
Oh yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it?
Me actively looking for English patched ROM, not to find anything.
Well, now looks like we need to go do that. Not.
Probably no luck, but I actually don't even know what the gameplay's like.
All I know is the thing that brought GARO back to us is Pachinko, which is this thing that killed Konami.
See, that's because Konami markets it wrong.
Well, I mean, I know Konami knows how to market it wrong. Look at the Chosei series.
Well, while we're also talking about side notes, I finished the first arc of Gundam Age.
I don't think that was a side note. I think that was a side note. I think that was a subplot of this episode.
The subplot of this episode of me playing Gundam Age. I'm like, hey, I finished the first arc.
Like, it's not a side note. It's more of a...
Which means in about 5 hours of gameplay, I finished one arc. So it's going to take me like 20 hours in total, maybe?
Well, if you did one arc in 5 hours and there's 15 episodes, and each episode is about 25 minutes long.
Well, there's 4 arcs.
No, I'm making the joke of let's do the math. Let's do the math.
Oh god, no, let's not do the math.
I'm doing the math after we're done with this episode, because if I start doing the math,
I've also been skipping the cutscenes, which has been cutting down my time too.
Yeah, like I said, we'll do Scott Steiner math in a bit. And for anyone listening, I will do Scott Steiner math because you have a 6 1/8 chance.
I should ship my Archangel.
I'm not gonna lie. On my side, I know you probably said ship Archangel, but I should ship my Archangel. Like, it came out over the speaker on my side, on my headset, and I'm hoping that when this recording is done, it actually sounds like what I heard it as, so they can go, wait, what? You know what the best part is? 10 days ago, Big Bad Toy Story said, hey, within 10 days, you're finally gonna get your Kakure Daishoken, because technically it's still November. And I'm like, well, bitch, you got like 3 days left to seal the deal. I'm just still pissed at that shit, because, like, I know the website did state November, but I was also afraid it was going to be, like, rolling over into fucking January, because Big Bad Toy Store and Bluefin, whenever Bluefin's, oh no, we're distributing it. Oh, God. It's always, like, 3 years later.
Isn't it lovely?
Like, that's the only time when I get slightly impatient is when Bluefin distribution is like, well, we got to make sure that the Japanese and the importers have a long enough time in between so they don't feel like they've been screwed. So yada yada yada, blah 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 blah.
Sounds
Like, I
about
feel
right.
like that should be. I feel like that only though applies heavily when it comes to P Bandai products. When it's retail, it's usually like a week to 2 weeks. But if it's P Bandai, it's like, oh yeah, no, you're gonna get it like a good month to 2 months after, or 3 months after the Japanese market already got it.
You know what I think happens?
What?
There's some crazy person in India that just intercepts the shipments and then holds them for ransom.
Why in India though?
I don't know.
Here's the
So I'm
sad
playing
part.
Gundam Battle
I'm like,
Assault, and I was like, and India popped up on the screen for some reason. Anyways.
you know what the sad part is? When you said India, I'm like, I swear to God, this is gonna lead into Lala using her Miriam Kosen. I'm gonna kill all of you. I'm gonna kill you and the listener.
Hey, that's Tokusatsu related.
Yeah, I know. That's why I brought it up once you said India, and I'm like, oh God, Lala's from India, technically.
I think India was on
Miriam
my
Kosen.
mind because of that.
Thanks, Gundam. Thanks, Gundam.
Thanks, Gundam should be the title of this episode.
No, more like Go Nagai age, no Go Nagai Gundam Tokusatsu.
I mean, hey, Go Nagai's made
No,
Toku
no,
before.
no, you don't know. You don't. What the part of the title should be? Is it Itano or is it the other one's boobs?
That should be the thumbnail.
I was thinking about sneaking that in somewhere into the episode, but like, watch that be how we get taken down from YouTube.
I mean, if Bat Dick didn't kill us, that won't.
That dick wasn't on the actual YouTube video. It was on our
Hey, we talked
website.
about it. That
No, we did talk about it. Yeah. Technically, as the joke in the canon for Mike and Mike and the boys, Mike and Mike in the morning.
Mike and Mike and the boys. Did we change the title of the show now?
No, I was thinking of Dirty Mike and the boys from the other guys when I said it, because you know how we always call you Dirty Mike and the boys.
You have to meet the boys someday. You met one of them.
I did meet one of the abandoned builders.
The abandoned builders? Like, they're builders that were abandoned?
That's what you kept calling yourself. You don't remember that was the nickname? We're the abandoned builders.
Oh,
Like,
that's
wait, you
right.
guys, I was like, well, do you build them? No, we just sneak into them. And people are gonna be like, what is wrong with Soundout? I'm like, he's from New Mexico. There's a lot of things wrong with that statement.
Okay, first of all, it's New Mexico. There's not that much to do. Like,
That's what I'm
if you're
saying.
not going to one of the 22 help me.
No, you're already broken. There's a soundbite for that.
If you're not going to one of the 22 breweries in the city, there's like, you have to come up with your own activities.
So then you became Dirty Mike and the boys, aka the abandoned builders. But yeah, no, okay, so the joke I was trying to say though with Mike and Mike in the morning is like, I know in the canon, like Mike's bullshit canon is that line producer and wheelchair are two separate people, even though I am the line producer and
Well,
I am.
Project's the line producer.
No. Remember the joke is I'm line producer 1 and you guys keep giving Project the line producer 2 when he's not supposed to be line producer.
Yeah, you're the Jonathan Zatcher and he's the Judd Lynn.
You know that sad part is you're saying that we're both shit.
Yeah, but we like one more than the other.
The sad part is by you saying he's the Judd Lynn, you're technically supposed to like him more, even though we found out Judd Lynn sucks ass too.
I know, I've been reading the Power Rangers visual history book, and I'm learning all kinds of stuff that is like Judd Lynn's fault. Like, all the plot points from Turbo that were dropped halfway.
Wait, which ones?
Divatox and Dimitri being twins, the Millennium Message, Phantom Ranger's identity. All of those got scrapped because Judd Lynn came in and said, because there's a producer change when they did the cast switch, they switched lead producers. And Judd Lynn said, well, I want to do it this way. And so, like, just scrapped all of the...
Wait. Judd Lynn Shirakurin it?
Yes.
Get the fuck out.
It is in the book. Like, it is literally discussed, like, that basically, those who were in charge, I think it was Douglasson and Austin, they left at the same time Tommy and friends did. Like,
all right, everyone.
When the cast switch
I think
happened,
we're leaving on a high.
A producer switch happened, and that's when Zatcher and Lynn got in charge. And Lynn decided to scrap all of the continuing plot points and kind of have a soft reboot in the middle of the show. So the reason why we didn't get the Phantom Ranger identity was not because Countdown to Destruction was cut down to 2 episodes. It was because Judd Lynn didn't want to do the story that was already there.
But why did they still have... Oh, yeah, because they technically need him for the Sentai footage. That's the only reason why they kept... Oh, okay. This is making me think of so many other things I had ideas of and conspiracy theories on on what really happened during the whole Turbo storyline that now I want to run with this, but because I said we're only going to do this for like a short episode since it's so early in the morning that we're recording that I'm like, all right, guys, we got a high note for next week.
Finish reading the book,
we have a high note.
We could do a whole episode on the book when I finish reading the book.
And how long will that take?
I'm currently in the Ninja Storm chapter, and the chapters get shorter as the book goes on. So
I was gonna say, are we gonna be to the end of the book by next Monday? Same bad time, same bad channel.
Very possible. I can if I just have a deadline, I'll pick up the pace.
So I would say probably by Friday or Saturday, try to finish.
And then we can do a chapter by chapter breakdown, and I can just like skim and be like, oh yeah, this is what I want to talk about.
Yeah, pretty much. So okay, Soundout gave us a good note for next week because he was like, oh yeah, the Millennium Message. Fuck you, Judley. And I'm like, well, now
I'm more mad about the Diva Talks Demetria thing, to be honest, because that was like one of those things that makes too much sense.
No, this is a funny thing. This is a funny thing. I'm more mad about the Millennium Message because every time I bring that up, people tell me to shut the fuck up. But yeah, like we got more to talk about. This book. We got plenty of content now for next week.
For example,
so, yeah.
I'll just tease this. Did you all know that the Astro Megaship sets and the Terra Venture sets and the Aquabase sets were fully built sets that were all connected in the proper order they would be in the series instead of having rooms that would fit inside a stage? That and more next time on Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu.
Hey, it's Wheelchair21, and thanks again for listening to an all-new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. If you want to hear more content or see more content from the Hero Club YouTube channel, we're going to need you to subscribe, like, comment with some feedback, and share this channel with a friend. We also would like you to check out our website, hero-club.com, and follow us on various social media outlets just by looking up Hero Club for Life, as well as the stores you see are where we shop. Anyways, thanks again, and we'll see you all next time.